welcome to the show. My name is Raven. How you guys doing, guys? This is my first episode of Raven Talks, so welcome to the show. And in this show, in this podcast that we have created, we will be talking about some interesting stuff that I cannot talk on my channel normally. So we will be talking about religion, politics, philosophy, and a lot of weird shit that I cannot talk on my channel in fear of getting age restricted. So, without any further ado, guys, let's get started on this podcast. I'm your host, Raven. So, welcome to the show, Raven Talks. In the first episode, we will be talking about something special. So, the first thing that I want to talk about in this episode is that there has been a question that has been plaguing theists and atheists for some time. So agnostics and many teenagers who are just becoming atheists or just are questioning theistic and religion, they are having this question thrown at them from Islamists or Christians or any theists, I think. So the question is that, is murder wrong if there is no God? And they state that if there is no God, then why are they not running around and killing other people? This question has a lot of issues actually, because you can throw the question back at the theist people by saying that they don't murder people just because God says so. But this creates a fallacy that if God said X is wrong, then X is wrong. That means that they are basing their whole morality on an individual, a god, or any supernatural being. They're placing all their trust, their morality, everything on that person. So if God is real, then they are just following a dictator. It is causing a lot of problems then, because if God is real and he controls what is right or wrong, so is it that we don't have free will? But many people will contradict and say that we do have free will, but free will doesn't include stuff like morality, which is something that God has fixed in a person. But the thing is that if there is a God, then free will just negates itself, and that's a whole another chapter for another episode. So anyways, so murder, according to some religious books, is not wrong. So hold me for a second. So according to Quran, they have a paradise after death. According to Buddhism, there are different kind of paradise and hell for different kind of people for different amount of time. There is the normal paradise and purgatory and hell in Christianity, and in Hinduism there is a system of reincarnation, and in Norse mythology we have hell and Valhalla. So we can see that every religion has its own version of afterlife, and that means that life is basically fickle and way less compared to the afterlife that we are rewarded. Anyways, so according to them and according to many pastors and imams nowadays, is that what is the human life worth in front of so much pleasure in infinite life of heaven? And that is the problem here. It's that once you believe that there is an afterlife, you don't live. So many people and many Christians and Muslims and Hindus and other religion people, they believe that afterlife is all that they deserve and human life is nothing. And it's a really good coping mechanism in the door to death and in certain situations, but it's not really helpful in everyday life. Because if you for some time you believe that there is an afterlife and you deserve this and this, and you don't live your life to the fullest, and there's no evidence of an afterlife anyways, so there's a chance that you just go and die and never come back. And it is a huge problem, because once you believe that there is no afterlife, if you have only one life, then it is all that you have, and you have to just live it fully. And that is what the atheistic perception of life is anyways. And we go to the murder and theists. So according to many religions like Christianity, Judaism, any other religion, they have one thing in common. It is that God has a master plan, and what is I mean by a master plan? A master plan means that God has dictated your life and death. So, anyways, if you die, that means God has already planned. So, a murderer is not actually a murderer if God has planned it already. And that means a murderer has to go to hell if we go by the religious logic. And it is not his fault because God has planned, God has made him do the killing. So, why is it wrong? There is a question that is always arises. If a murderer just comes and kills a person, and the person just anyways goes to heaven, is it wrong that they are killing the person? And the thing is, yes, it is wrong. And sometimes you need to believe that no, it is not wrong, because anyways you are just getting the person back to heaven where they're receiving the pleasure. In extreme cases, infanticide, where you kill the children, they don't have any feelings, so what they will do in heaven anyways? That is another problem. So, for example, that is creates a fallacy that will cause a lot of problems when you try to discover what is the meaning of life according to religion. And according to religion, you get another chance, and in Hinduism and other religions, you get another chance to come back to earth, and it's a never-ending cycle. So that's not much. But in atheism, that's a huge problem, because atheism is the neither belief in a heavenly being. So we believe in science. There is no evidence that anywhere humans go after death. So after a human dies, it's nothing. You just go to an endless sleep. You see nothing because there is nothing. You don't have the functions to see anything. You don't have the functions to brain to see anything. You don't have the function to dream because you don't have the brain anymore. You don't have anything. So it's just an endless loop. Just because before you're born, it's just darkness, infinite nothingness that you go back to. You just go back to the universe. That is it. So in an atheistic perspective, you only have one life. If you die, then you don't receive anything. It's just the end. So for an atheist, the biggest sin is to just commit murder, because you are receiving one life and that life is taken away from you by someone. That murder is infinitely wrong according to many people, and theists just believe that, because murder can never be justified due to many reasons. Just for example, if I receive one life and it's taken away, then the person who has committed the crime is have done the most unthinkable thing, because you have taken the life of the only person, the only chance of them having a life to experience love, to experience pleasure, to experience pain. You have taken everything from them. So for an atheist, it is just like that. Once you die, there's nothing. It's just endless. So you are committing something grave. In heavenly thought that theists have, you gain another chance to do anything, but for atheists it's just end. So once you die, it's nothing more. So that is why for atheists it is the most unthinkable sin to commit murder, and it can never be morally justified as an atheist, because it is objectively wrong to take the only chance of life from a person and to make sure that the person never receives the pleasure and to never experience life again. So that was the first episode of Raven Talks. I talked about murder from an atheistic perspective. I know that you didn't like this episode much because I don't have much experience with podcasts. So it was the first episode, and I'm really sorry if there are some issues. So I will see you in the next episode, guys. So be sure to tell me whatever you want me to make an episode on next. So the next episode may be on politics or on feminism. So I will see you in the next episode. Bye guys, goodbye, have a great day and take care.